I feel great. It's gonna be one of my best victories in my career. Obviously, he's a great fighter. He's a legend. But it's gonna be good for my books.
I'm all about making history. I was the first two-time undisputed champion of the world, and I can assure you I'm gonna be the first three-time undisputed champion of the world.
Canelo Alvarez's controversial prediction that Terence Crawford would employ an evasive strategy sparked a potent psychological battle. This brazen jab only intensifies Crawford's monumental ambition as he relentlessly chases his goal to become boxing's unprecedented three-division undisputed champion. Their anticipated clash is now steeped in both personal provocation and historical stakes. With unwavering confidence, Canelo Alvarez made a bold proclamation ahead of his prospective bout with Terence Crawford. While acknowledging Crawford's legendary status, Canelo didn't hold back, showing the American would once again resort to a defensive strategy. It was more than a prediction, it was a piercing psychological tactic in an interview dripping with pride. Canelo set down the mental groundwork for the fight to come.
I feel great. It's gonna be one of my best victories in my career. Obviously, he's a great fighter. He's a legend. But it's gonna be good for my books.
On the other side of the horizon, Terence Crawford radiated silent but steely desire, declaring his goal to redefine boxing history. Having already achieved undisputed champion status in two divisions, Crawford made it clear he was gunning for a third, though he was respectful toward Canelo. Crawford's tone changed into one of cold focus as he swore to leave no doubts in the ring. His intent was not just to fight but to finalize a legacy.
I'm all about making history. I was the first two-time undisputed champion of the world, and I can assure you I'm gonna be the first three-time undisputed champion of the world. Yes. I respect Canelo, just like I respect every one of my other opponents before Canelo. But once it get close to that time, it's time to go to work, And when we go to work, y'all know what comes after that.
Still, Canelo remained unshaken when questioned about his place in boxing's pantheon. He shrugged off labels of greatness, saying his record would speak louder than self-promotion ever could. Yet when it came to Crawford, his tone grew sharp, declaring an absolute certainty in his ability to win regardless of the situation.
Victories in my career, obviously. He's a great fighter, he's a legend, but it's gonna be good for my books.
Go ahead, sir. Dana, you followed boxing so closely for decades.
Former world champion Mikey Garcia weighed in with a nuanced perspective, anticipating how Crawford might respond to Canelo's punishing power. Garcia suggested that a major strike could force Crawford into retreat, not out of fear but for survival, despite recognizing Canelo's potential to inflict real damage. Garcia also gave Crawford major credit, asserting a victory over Alvarez would elevate him to the top 3 of all time.
When he takes a shot from Canelo, one of those uppercuts from Munguia or those...
He could get dropped, or he feels it enough to be like, fuck this, I'm boxing, and goes on the bicycle and turns southpaw for the rest of the night. And I wouldn't blame him either. Fuck it, you're gonna go in there and collect a fucking paycheck at that point.
Right.
You're not gonna go get hurt.
Right.
What good is it to get fucking 20, 30 million if you are fucking hurt physically, end up in the hospital and hurt just physically, life-changing, you don't want that shit.
But you think Canelo could hurt him, or it could be life-changing?
Good, he's that big, fool. One punch could fucking knock him out bad enough to hurt his eye socket or detached retina. You never fucking know.
Right.
So no one wants that shit.
Crawford said if he beats him, he's in the top 3 GOATs of all time.
Oh, for sure. If Crawford beats Canelo, then for sure, he'll motherfucking props in the world, bro. And he actually does have a chance. It's not like he doesn't have.
Then came YouTuber and analyst Showbiz, the adult who asked a critical question: can Canelo Alvarez's legendary chin withstand Terence Crawford's precise and unexpected striking? He noted that Crawford's knockouts come from accuracy, not just power, highlighting past fights where one clean shot changed everything. Showbiz challenged the story of Canelo's invincibility, leaving the door open for astonishment.
The question I have, which I didn't ask before, because Canelo's chin is one of the greatest chins in history. But looking at the size of Crawford, if he can keep his speed, he's definitely going to keep his timing, he's definitely going to keep his accuracy. Crawford is a knockout artist. The reason why Crawford is a knockout artist is because of his hand-eye coordination, accuracy, and timing. He hits you with shit that you're not expecting. That shit that he hit Errol Spence with, he didn't expect it, that's why he dropped. Same thing with Kell Brook. He's going to hit Canelo with something weird. Canelo ain't going to be able to roll out of it, because Crawford's timing is different. Canelo's going to get hit with flush. But the thing is, Berlanga hit Canelo flush after the bell. So that lets you know what kind of chin he has. I'm just saying, can he stymie, can he bell ring Canelo a little bit? Can he sting him a bit to make Canelo not tank for 12 rounds?
Crawford, undeterred, made his intentions crystal clear. He wanted Canelo Alvarez, and he wanted him now, labeling him the final remaining icon from a golden age. Crawford expressed admiration, but stressed this was his moment. As he saw it, fighting and defeating Canelo would be the defining moment of his storied career.
Wow, because, like I said, he the last great fighter amongst the era that surpassed us. You know, the Floyd, the Pacquiao, the De La Hoya. We both came up in that era, and he was right there with those fighters, and he got the chance to fight the Miguel Cottos, the Floyd Mayweathers, and you know, the Kovalevs and Triple Gs, and I wasn't able to get those mega fights, you know, so this is my mega fight, this is my moment, and that's the reason why I want to fight all time.
However, not everyone shared that view. Lil Yachty, voicing skepticism, leaned strongly toward Canelo. He questioned Crawford's ability to manage a three-division jump, stressing that historical precedents didn't favor such leaps without a rehydration clause in play. Yachty felt Canelo's increased mass could be the deciding factor in breaking Crawford's resistance.
Who you like in this fight?
Canelo.
Why? Because Bud had to move up 3 classes?
Yes. And in the history of boxing, I've never seen anybody move up 2 classes and be successful.
Well, Roy did.
I mean, but not in one jump, not in one leap.
Right, you're right.
It was here,
right.
Light, heavyweight, fight a few fights,
right.
Okay, heavyweight. We talking about he just fought 147 one fight ago.
Right.
And then you gonna fight at 168?
Yeah. Did he fight his last fight at 54?
Yes, just one fight
right.
though.
And so now he's go from 54 to 60 to 68.
Right.
And then he don't have a rehydration clause, so Canelo might be 180. 185, 190.
190.
Right. So he thinks he can outbox Canelo.
I think he can outbox Canelo too until he get hit.
Tibbs on the scales of advantage, adding to the tactical debate. Mark Tibbs echoed those concerns, conceding that while Crawford had stylistic advantages, the sheer weight differential tilted the scales in Canelo's favor. Yet Tibbs didn't discount a Crawford upset, suggesting the fight's outcome would ultimately hinge on timing and ring intelligence rather than brute force.
Realistically, I fancied Terence Crawford, yeah? But the weight, I'm leaning toward Canelo, because, you know, I think it's going to suit Canelo more, the weight advantage. But, you know, I wouldn't be surprised if Terence Crawford won, and I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo won. Not sitting on the fence, it's just that, but if I have to lean towards someone, it would be Canelo, because of the weight's going to suit him more.
Notably, veteran coach Abel Sanchez offered a blunt dismissal, calling the game ridiculous. He didn't deny Crawford's early agility, but predicted it would fade under the weight of Canelo's sustained attack. In Sanchez's eyes, the size disparity was too vast, and the toll of every punch would mount quickly toward a decisive finish.
This fight myself, I think that Crawford is too small. Canelo is, in my opinion, the face of boxing right now. I think that look at his resume. I think it's a good fight for a little while. Crawford's hand speed will, just like when Golovkin fought Kell Brook, the hand speed was evident at the beginning of the fight. But as the fight goes on, Canelo's going to start pounding on him, and I think that the fight ends somewhere between the 9th and 12th round.
You really feel because of the size difference, he can stop Crawford?
Well, absolutely. I think that anything Canelo hits him with is going to hurt him. He won't be able to catch him early because, like I said, the speed and the foot speed and the hand speed. And Crawford's a heck of a fighter at his own weight. 54, when he fought Madrimov in his last fight, showed us that he can't really, the weight makes a difference. I don't care how much weight he gains and how much he does to try to get up to that level, 168, is going to make it.
Echoing concerns about the shift in divisions, Kell Brook brought personal experience into the debate, warning that leaping in weight against top competition isn't just difficult, it's punishing. Citing his own career, Brook questioned whether Crawford still had the mobility to avoid Canelo's charges. In contrast to Mayweather's elusive style, Brook found Crawford more calculated and less likely to dart and escape for 12 rounds.
Way towards Canelo. Crawford's gonna have to, move up, and I knew when I boxed Golovkin, there's a big difference, especially with someone that, fighting a middleweight, a mediocre world champion's okay, but when you're fighting someone like, Canelo or Golovkin, it's a different kettle of fish, I have to lean towards Canelo, but Crawford's very, very, very good. I think when we look back at Mayweather when he beat Canelo, he's a mover. Crawford's not really like Mayweather in that aspect. He's more, he kind of sets his feet. He's cute with how he approaches. Chucking shots and moving, I think it's a different fight to Mayweather, and Canelo's obviously a different fight from when he boxed.
Legendary promoter Bob Arum took a different stance, scrutinizing Canelo's recent acts. He characterized them as business-first exhibitions, more about paychecks than pride. Arum questioned which Canelo would show up, the ravenous champion or the content mogul with no more points to make.
Has shown in his last few fights that he's just a businessman. He's not in there to entertain the public. He just takes the big check. But again, if Canelo really fights, because I think safe to say Terence always fights. He doesn't know anything else. So then it could be a very good, interesting fight. What Canelo is going to show up? The Canelo who's looking to cash a big check, or the Canelo that really wants to fight like a fighter? Now, the Canelo we've seen the last 2 years is not only boring, but doesn't really have an incentive to mix it up and to entertain people with a good fight.
In stark contrast to some criticisms, UFC President Dana White responded with a passionate defense of Canelo's legacy, pointing to his consistent excellence and unequaled earnings. White stressed how difficult it is to remain at the top for so long, dismissing detractors as enamored of Alvarez's continued dominance and his jaw-dropping $40 million per fight paydays.
Shit and say whatever they want to say, but look at Canelo. Canelo is still the man.
Yes, he's been for a long, long time.
And he jumps in there and he does it and he goes to work, and it's hard to stay at that level for a very long time. And Canelo's another guy. I mean, what's this guy clipping 40 mil?
Still, public opinion was changing. Sam Jones, one solidly in Canelo's corner, now thinks Crawford might edge out a points victory, citing Alvarez's recent complacency. Jones thought that Crawford's mental sharpness and hunger could make the difference. He observed both combatants were aging, but only one looked ready to evolve.
Crawford now. I thought Canelo was going to win, but I don't like what I've seen in the last couple of fights from Canelo. I'm just saying, right? They're both, in my opinion, gently on the decline, yeah? Gently. And that's not disrespectful, because I'm a huge Crawford fan. Huge Crawford fan. But he's 38. What is he, 37, 38? Naturally, you are going to dip, yeah? Canelo Alvarez has made more money than I'm sure he knows what the fuck to do with. So it's like, how do you keep motivating yourself? Crawford's going to be shocked. I just have a sneaky feeling, and by the way, I will probably contradict myself before these fucking knobheads start saying, he said this. I think I'll change my mind, but as it stands in my head, I believe Crawford will win.
Undeniably, podcaster Joe Rogan brought the talk back to fundamental body strikes. He praised Canelo's infamous liver hooks, describing their paralyzing effect with graphic detail. According to Rogan, one clean shot to the liver could close Crawford's system down completely, freezing his legs and ending his rhythm in a flash.
Canelo Alvarez body shots. Like, maybe there's a video we could look. He's got a beautiful one where he steps in and just rips that left hook to the liver, and your body just goes deep. It just shuts down. It's the weirdest feeling, man. It's like your legs stop working, everything stops working. Your whole body just seizes up.
It appears significantly trainer Derek James presented a counterpoint spotlighting Crawford's mental fortitude as the X factor. He stated that unlike Canelo's past opponents, Crawford would arrive armed with supreme belief. James stressed that timing would be the key. Canelo must strike at the ideal moment or risk being overpowered by Crawford's speed. Transitioning from that, Eddie Hearn, often measured in his takes, acknowledged he was moving toward Crawford now. The shift wasn't based on Canelo's flaws, but on Crawford's growing aura. Hearn thought Crawford's slick and enigmatic style would challenge even the most seasoned champion, making this a chess match in motion.
Favoring Crawford in the fight, or has your opinion changed?
I mean, I've always favoured Canelo in the fight.
Well, I've heard that you want Canelo to win, but you feel
big. Yeah, I like Terence. I've worked a lot with Canelo, and I think just because of what I saw in Riyadh and because of the threat, and he's getting on as well, Crawford, but it's just like the mindset of Crawford. Like, there's no doubt in Terence Crawford's mind that he wins this fight. And when you spend a bit of time with him, you start buying into that. And I guess that's what happened in Riyadh, because I travelled with him to the fight, and but it's a 50-50 fight. I think gun to head, I'm probably picking Crawford right now. But I want Canelo to win, and he can win for sure. But Terence is going to make it really tricky and awkward for him. And I don't think he's...
Adding to the fight's unpredictability, Teddy Atlas, never afraid to query icons, challenged the idea of Canelo's greatness outright. He admired Crawford's grit and hunger, suggesting the American's drive was what made him truly dangerous. To Atlas, the 168 lb weight class wasn't a barrier. It was Crawford's next proving ground. At the same time, Crawford himself reacted with fire, shrugging off concerns about weight. He pointed to a lifetime of defeating bigger men and claimed adversity only sharpened him. With eyes locked on Alvarez, Crawford promised to enter a transformed state, one based not on size, but uncheckable resolve.
Because they underestimate your humble.
It's just, even if they didn't, I'm gonna beat you up. I can fight.
Right.
So if you watch, like, all these dudes bigger than me.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care. But I'm gonna find a way to win, no matter what.
In September, are you gonna pull this? I shook up the world. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you. I told you.
That definitely. That's definitely gonna be, one of the moments. I need the doubters to fuel me. What you think he'd do if he go up 2 more weight classes? I need that, because that's gonna make me more focused and turn into a different animal. So I need the people to say, I can't do this, or I'm not good enough.
Meanwhile, Canelo set a more composed tone, acknowledging the excitement around the matchup without committing directly. He accepted the weight dynamics could complicate things, but stayed open, provided the timing, terms, and payout were acceptable. Until then, he remained focused on existing obligations. Crucially, Dimitri Bivol, who knows Canelo well, saw the fight tipping in Crawford's favor. He praised Crawford's relentless work rate, arguing it would disrupt Canelo's usual rhythm, unlike Canelo's past opponents. Crawford wouldn't allow rest or reset. He'd press non-stop and compel Canelo into uncomfortable seas.
I don't like the fight because Terence Crawford is a good fighter, but in the sport of boxing, has divisions. You know what I mean?
Right, weight classes.
Yeah, weight classes
for a reason.
Weight classes and Terence Crawford is a good fighter in super lightweight, welterweight, super welterweight, but I think more. I remember when Terence Crawford fought with Madrimov.
Yes.
He looks slow. He looks with no power, and 3 more divisions. 2 more divisions. I think it's a top fight for Terence Crawford, but Terence Crawford is a great fighter. He has a great defense. He has a good combination of punches, but I think the weight class is no good for him.
Meanwhile, Juan Manuel Marquez, a man who knows elite-level boxing, offered a blend of caution and admiration. He acknowledged Crawford's brilliant defense and combinations, but stressed the dangers of leaping too far up in weight for Marquez. Underestimating Crawford was naive, but claiming weight doesn't matter was worse.
I didn't like it. I was like, come on, don't do it, don't go up there, don't do it. But as it got closer, I'm believing in Crawford, man. I mean, I think he can pull it off. We haven't really seen the best of Canelo in years. I think his best days were at 160. When I think of it, that Danny Jacobs fight, that's probably the best performance I've seen Canelo in all these fights. I know he's had some fights we have better performance, but in recent times, just the lateral movement, the elusiveness, the way he lets his shots go, the just effortless kind of movement and flowing of punches. It hasn't been that simple.
Echoing that concern, but giving a generational contrast, Denzel Bentley lent a younger voice to the growing opinion that Canelo might finally be vulnerable. While deferential of Canelo's achievements, Bentley highlighted a noticeable decline since his move to 168, alluding to his last fluid performance against Danny Jacobs at 160, promising an unpredictable showdown where either raw strength or meticulous precision could win. All eyes now turn to the ring, where every question surrounding these two champions will eventually be answered.